Yes, that's right. Welcome, elite entrepreneurs and empire builders. Man, I'm so excited once again today to have another conversation about a great franchise opportunity for you guys. I am Jared, your host, CEO, and founder of Fran Opps, and this is going to be a good one for you today. I want you to, if you're interested, we just dropped the link in the chat, is to begin even seeing about if you qualify for this brand or a number of other ones as well. This is where you're going to start. So you start there. It takes you 7-8 minutes to fill that out, and we can begin the conversation on territory availability, your qualifications, if what brands, if this one specifically might fit your goals and what you're looking for. That's really where the conversation is going to begin. We are here at Fran Opps Live, powered by BAI, Business Alliance Incorporated, and so proud of that. Because they are the premier resource for brokers, brands, suppliers, and investors within the franchising industry. Because of them, we get to work with nearly 400 highly qualified and vetted franchisors, different brands that can be trusted with helping you franchise your future. And that's the beauty of working with us at Fran Opps. That's the beauty of Fran Opps being able to work with BAI. And the brand we're talking about today is one of those top brands. We're bringing on All American Pet Resorts, and this is a pretty unique one for us because we haven't actually had a single pet brand, a pet resort, pet franchise rather, here on Fran Opps Live yet. And so this is going to be fun for me. And All American Pet Resorts is a luxury pet care resort offering 24/7 dog boarding and daycare services. We're going to unpack what that means, what those services look like. Man, I tell you, and the more you dig into this, you're going to fall in love with this brand so much that you're going to wish you could be a dog at this luxury resort. It's pretty incredible. So we're going to talk about their system. We're going to talk about the support, the playbook. We're going to talk about marketing. We're going to talk about some of their numbers. And they have some pretty incredible exclusive partnerships with companies like VetFran and Franchise Registry, the International Boarding and Pet Services Association, the International Association of Canine Professionals, Dogs Playing for Life, International Franchise Association, and more. Their franchisees are winning awards left and right, like the franchise out in Michigan who won 2 years in a row the best pet daycare, or the one out in New Jersey who just won the Community's Choice Award for the entire state. Maybe you've seen All American Pet Resorts on Business View magazine or PR Newswire, or maybe just listed as one of the top 10 best pet franchises. Maybe you've connected with one of their multiple locations. Whatever it is, I'm excited to unpack this with you, show you this brand, this incredible opportunity. So if you're watching live, make sure you drop your questions in the chat for us. Okay? Make sure you drop your question in the chat. I'll get those asked to the owner of All American Pet Resorts, Stephan Dimitroff, as he has led this company now for the last several years through some major things. He's led them through a major rebranding. He's also led them through COVID and on to now into the future for scale and growth. A lot of upside, a lot of potential with this opportunity for you guys. So I am excited, without further ado, to bring in the one and only Stephan Dimitroff. Stephan, welcome to the greatest Facebook group in the metaverse, my friend. Welcome here.
Jared, thank you very much. I'm not sure I can follow up with that introduction, but thank you very much. It's a pleasure being here this afternoon.
Yeah, well, you don't need to, man. I mean, because you have some great content, and all you have to do is talk about this incredible franchise opportunity. And so that part's easy. That part's easy for you. So I'm excited to get to know a little bit more about this brand and show it to this Facebook group. And even those of you watching later, maybe you're watching this on YouTube or some other location, I want you to know too, like, this is going live right now, exclusive first to a group of entrepreneurs and empire builders on Facebook. You can click on the links, and we'll drop the comments and the details. But you can join us there if you want to watch and get this content firsthand, beforehand. But Stephan, today I'm excited to hear your story and hear more about the brand. So let's start there, if we could. Can you tell us a little bit about you, your story, and kind of how you got to where you are today with this franchise?
Sure. Great question, Jared, and thank you again. Quite an interesting story. Yeah. It all started back in 2005. And at that time, my wife and I had just adopted a new puppy, Bull Mastiff. His name was Hugo. Beautiful dog, rather large dog. Beautiful dog. Yeah, large dog. I traveled for work quite frequently, and my wife and I traveled leisurely quite frequently as well. So being new to pet ownership, we then had to find a place to board our dog when we traveled. And since he was the only I'll say child in the house at that time, I did my due diligence in the area. And at that time, I came across All American Pet Resorts Royal Oak. And I did an exhaustive amount of research, knowing that we had to have the best care for him. And I found at that time that resort, All American Pet Resorts Royal Oak, was the best of the best.
Yeah.
They had full staff on full time, 365 days a year, 24 hours a day, always on premises.
Yeah.
Started out by bringing Hugo there for half a day of daycare, a full day of daycare, one night overnight boarding. We were still in the house, we were still in the area, but we acclimated him to the product, the process. He began to love it. There was a point in time, Jared, I say, Hugo, do you want to go to school? He would get all fired up and run to the door.
For real, he knew what that meant.
Absolutely. He knew what school meant, and he knew where he was going. He was going to school.
Wow.
And there came a point during one of my visits, there was a sign on the line that said franchises for sale. And this was back in 2005 when the brand had just started franchising.
Okay.
And I set up a meeting with the founders. There were 4 founding members. I set up a dinner meeting with them, did a ton of research on the industry and the brand, and had a great dinner, great conversation. And unfortunately, at that time, I was underfunded. So although at that time I would have been the first franchisee in the system, couldn't cut it financially. So at the end of the conversation, I simply said, listen, when the growth merits it, I would definitely consider working for the franchise company. It's a great company. It's a great industry, and I would love to work for the business.
Yeah.
And I maintained a friendship with the founders, and we had a mutual respect for one another. And fast forward to 2017, I was on a business trip to Mexico in my prior career, got a phone call from the owner and one of the founding members saying, Stephen, how would you like to run the business? Totally caught me off guard. But I said, listen, let's catch up on our return to the United States. And what we did was we came to an agreement where I would work for him part-time for 6 months, and we'd see if there was a fit. Did I like what the company was doing? Could I actually perform the operations as he had expected? And was there an opportunity for growth and success down the road? Well, that 6 month term ended shortly. And I left a 19-year career in engineering and sales. Oh, wow. And I started working for All American Pet Resorts in 2017. And I have loved every day of it. And to really double down to get where we are today, in October of last year, I bought the business from the owner. Officially,
outright. It's all yours.
Yes. So
Congratulations.
I'm now the owner. Thank you.
From like 05, you said, is when you really first started kind of the relationship with them, right?
That's correct. Yes. In 2005, I started the relationship.
Yeah. Incredible journey to now being the owner of this. I think it speaks volumes to the kind of impression All American Pet Resorts leaves on an individual, and so
it's quite the brand.
Yeah, for real. Well, I'm excited. Tell me a little bit more about the brand then, like especially with the services. I know you mentioned, we've talked about 24/7 dog boarding and services. Tell me a little bit more about what the brand does.
The brand is really unique and really specific. As many people know today, pets are the new children. People are delaying marriage, delaying having children, and pets really are becoming the new children for a lot of younger couples and families. And All American Pet Resorts, and remember, I didn't found the business, so when I say this, it's based on what was done prior to me coming on board. But All American Pet Resorts truly is the best of the best. We provide premium and unparalleled experience for our guests and a solid investment for the franchisees.
Okay.
Although pets are a big part of what we do, we're in the relationship business, Jared. It's the relationship between us, the franchisor, and the franchisees.
Right.
It's the relationship between the franchisees and their employees, and of course between the pet handlers and the employees and the pets and the pet parents.
Yeah.
And every day, we want our owners to be happy. We want them to be happy with their investment. We want them to be happy with their lifestyle, and we always want the pet parents to be happy. So we work on providing the pet parents a stress-free, enjoyable environment. And we do this by providing remarkable experiences for every dog every day. And this includes overnight boarding, daycare, grooming. We pretty much offer a complement of services, but at the end of the day, we want everybody, pets and parents, to be extremely happy with our services.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. You mentioned school earlier. Is that a big part of All American Pet Resorts? Like, is it a training as well, or how does that work?
There are some resorts that do offer services related to training, but our bread and butter is overnight boarding.
Yeah.
Then followed up by that is dog daycare. But for the most part, although there are some locations that do offer training services, we're primarily overnight boarding. That's our true bread and butter. That's our wheelhouse.
Gotcha. That's where the biggest margins seem to be. Something, is that what you're saying?
It's actually the highest percentage of our overall business.
Okay. Gotcha. That makes sense. So tell me then about that investment. What would you say is now, why is now the right time for someone to invest into an all-American pet resorts? And tell me about what it is they're investing into as well. Because if I understand it correctly, and of course, obviously, maybe I don't. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's a fairly good sized investment with a build out with property, right? So maybe unpack that for me a little bit, and then tell me why would now be the right time to invest into it.
Absolutely. The what's unique about our industry and our brand is we really can't be replaced by an Amazon or a Google or a Microsoft.
That's true.
So
Yeah.
the product and services that we offer are somewhat unique, and the industry is expanding with very, very strong growth year over year. And as you probably well know, COVID actually increased pet ownership across the country.
Mm-hmm.
And so right now, because younger couples are delaying marriage or delaying parenthood, they're picking up dogs. COVID increased that significantly, and the industry is expanding on a year-over-year basis. And people are treating their pets like kids now, so they are spending more money, whether it be in service or care or treats and toys. They are spending a significant amount of money in the industry. So there is a huge opportunity at this time to invest in a brand that can help you grow and live a lifestyle different than what you may be doing today.
Yeah, absolutely. What kind of owners are you guys looking for?
We look for, of course, we like people that like pets, but for the
Probably
most
need to
part,
like pets. Yeah.
sure. But at the same time, we're looking for successful business people. We want business people that are coachable, can follow a product, can follow a process, they're community oriented, and they've already shown success in running a business. And that can be a couple different levels. We do have absentee owners, we have semi-absentee owners, and we have owners that work every day in the resorts hands-on. And it's not to say that one is better than the other. All of them do extremely well. If we do want to have an absentee or a semi-absentee, we just encourage them to participate in developing their business for the first year, and then hire a very strong, very business-oriented, pet-friendly general manager. And with that, they can be very successful as well.
Okay, so if they're going to start, they need to start owner-operator for the most part. Is that what we're saying?
That is the best approach. They can learn exactly how the business operates, understand, and fully comprehend the product and process that we offer. Yes.
Okay, gotcha. What does that process for them to become an owner look like? I know some franchises are like, we'll get you in 4 weeks. Some are like, well, we're going to build us. It's going to be a year. So tell me about the process of becoming an owner with All American.
Absolutely. Obviously, the process starts by signing a franchise agreement.
Yep.
And once that takes place, we start working with you on real estate and demographics. So the candidate's going to say, I want to be located in a certain town, a certain municipality. So then we partner with some national real estate companies, and we identify real estate. And you're looking for approximately 1 acre of land, maybe a 10,000 square foot facility. And then we'll work with our real estate partners to identify the real estate. And then we start the demographic analysis. And what we do is we partner with a national firm that has some proprietary software that allows us to compare demographics for a requested location in comparison with our current locations. The data or the information in absolute value is nice, but we're not concerned about the overall population versus what are the demographics of a proposed location versus our current locations. Since we understand the performance of our current locations, we want to understand how they would perform relative to an existing business. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. What would you say to someone that's that as far as the real estate goes? Because there's concern there right now with our economy and the price and the different things. So especially property. Well, how do you respond to that kind of fear or concern for right now?
Real estate is a great opportunity for investment independent of the franchise opportunity. So you talk about location. provided that property values continue to increase, real estate investment is not necessarily a bad thing. And ownership of the real estate is also good because you can protect your outcome in the future versus leasing. Yeah. So real estate is a great play. It's secondary to the franchise business, but it's a good place to relate to the overall combination of your investment.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Tell us about the overall investment then, especially for a single unit. What are we talking about cost wise? What does it cost? Is there the franchise fee involved? What's the minimum maximum range?
Sure. Our initial franchise fee is $60,000.
Okay.
And then our item 7, the estimated initial investment, ranges from approximately $668,000 up to about $1.5 million.
Okay. It's a big range.
Yes. Well, it's a range because you can open up different size facilities, and we consider the size of the facility based on the number of pet suites. We do not have crates in our facilities. They are pet suites. They're constructed precisely to our standards and our brand guides. But each individual pet has a suite, so your dog does not come into a resort and play all day. They get a suite to themselves. They have structured play throughout the day. They have structured potty walks and things of that nature. But the range in the item 7 is because there are different levels of construction, how many suites you build in your facility. So the $668K to $1.5 million is a range based on number of suites, and that is specifically for the build out, does not include the cost of building or land.
Okay, gotcha. So all of that, of course, would be on top of that investment.
That's correct. And we're looking for investors with about $500,000 liquid and a net worth of approximately $1.2 million, Jared.
Okay, sure. How many do you have owners that are stepping in as multi-unit from the beginning, or is it primarily single unit, or what's it look like for you guys?
Our experience right now, Jared, is we have the investors come in primarily as a single unit investor.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Would you be against people if they wanted to go multi-unit from the beginning?
No, not at all. No, not at all. We have territories across the country. We like multi-unit investors, but I think that what happens is there's a large amount of activity from once you sign the franchise agreement and again the real estate. You go through architectural. We have a national architectural firm that we partner with. We go through the design and development phase. Wow. We go through training. We go through digital marketing. There's a whole process and cadence that we follow so that when the business is ready to open, they already have reservations. It's not a matter of open the doors and hope they come to the resort for reservations. We have people in place and reservations in place before the doors even open. So the idea is because there's a lot of time between when they sign and when they open, we find that it's best suited for an individual ownership when they start. And as they expand, they can add additional locations. But again, we are not opposed to multi-unit agreements.
Yeah, good. You started talking a little bit about the marketing and training and support and some of those things just now. What can you tell us more about support for owners? Because everyone I talk to, they want to get into owning a business. They don't want to start it from scratch. They are looking specifically for a good deal of support from the franchisor, as they should, right? That's kind of the beauty of the relationship. So what can you tell us about support for owners? What does that look like through All American?
Support is a phone call away, my friend. We have a very small and nimble office. Okay. You're working directly with myself. You're working directly with our director of operations. And every franchisee has access to myself, our director of operations, at any time. And we support in all aspects of the business. We get phone calls about training. How should we respond to a bad customer review? We work on that, support on that. Product or process support, financial performance. There is not an aspect of our business or product that we cannot assist you on. And again, it's a phone call away. We want to make sure, as I mentioned previously, this is about relationships and making sure our franchisees are happy when they sign the agreement 5 years into it. And when they renew, we want to ensure that, number one, they enjoy their lifestyle, they enjoy their revenue, they enjoy the work, and they enjoy what we've offered them at an investment level.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's so good. What's your current franchise base look like? How many franchisees do you have in the system?
We currently have, let me think about that. We currently have 11 in operation. Our most recent one opened about a month ago. We have another one opening up here later in April. That'll be 12. And then we have 2 in development. So 14.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Great. That's great. Then of those, who are there any of them that stick out to you as far as like they are really achieving the kind of success that they had set out to achieve. When they first get into this, they have these dreams of maybe not necessarily grandeur, but dreams of what life can look like and be like as a business owner. And so do you have any success stories of current franchisees that really come to mind for you that you could share with us?
We do. We have one that stands out. We had
Yeah.
a young couple, David and Sarah,
Yeah.
that were introduced to us back in, I want to say it was 2019, Jared, and both jobs in corporate America, doing the daily grind. And one of our units was interested in selling their location. And David and Sarah happened to meet the prior owners, struck up a conversation, become relatively good friends, and they purchased that location in Metro Detroit. And the location was one of our underperforming resorts, and I think it was primarily as a result of just demographics and location for the most part.
Okay.
Well, Sarah's just this wizard, and
Yeah.
she took this resort, and she just did an absolute phenomenal job. And although it was underperforming when she bought it, through marketing, SEO, PPC, grassroots tactics, getting into the Chamber of Commerce, doing local events.
Okay.
She, in about 5 years, she almost doubled the revenue at that location.
Wow.
Just basically flipped it around and has turned it into a powerhouse. Now, it doesn't end there, though. This is where the beauty of this starts.
Okay.
After that point, her and David were enjoying their lives, enjoying their lifestyles. They were traveling, really enjoying what they did.
Yeah.
Well, similar to what I did by buying the franchise company I did in October of last year, they purchased a second unit.
Oh, wow. Good for them. One
of our other locations in Metro Detroit wanted to sell. So Sarah and David bought a second unit, which, again, knowing what they did and the amount of effort and time they put in their first location, they bought a second one. And when you come from a career having nothing to do with pet care or boarding and this type of business, they're just knocking it out of the park. And huge success story, and very proud of what they've done.
That's so great. Good for them. Holy smokes. That's
very cool.
That's very powerful. And that's what I love about franchising is that it can end fairly quickly. I mean, you say within 5 years, they doubled that and then bought another one too recently. Like fairly quickly, it can turn your life around in the way that you are envisioned that it might be able to. And for you watching now or later, like this is one of those opportunities that could very well do that. And most likely, I want to say probably will. Like you even mentioned, for most people, when they're looking at franchises, at the end of the day, like they love the concept, right? They love pets, they love the branding, they love the marketing, they love the support they're hearing. But if it's not making money, you can't do it, right? It comes down to the finances. And I compared to a lot of the brands we've had on, the numbers that you guys have shown in your item 19, which we've talked about in this group before, about what the item 19 is within the FDD. If that's unfamiliar language, feel free to reach out. We can explain it. But your guys' is really incredibly powerful comparatively to so many other brands, especially brands in your own space. So can you tell us then what does the item 19 look like for you guys? What are you guys kind of touting?
Excellent. Thank you very much, Jared. It's funny that you asked that question because item 19 can either reveal a ton of information or share very little. And I erred on the side of caution. I want our investors and our partners to be very well educated prior to signing an agreement.
Yeah.
In the previous FDD, we had 11 tables. So we try and break it down to a point where an investor can look at the item 19, determine what the revenue looks like, determine what the cost and expenses look like, and try and develop a solid story or a solid business model where they can truly understand what it could look like under their ownership.
Okay.
And what we do is throughout those tables, we try and present a very clear scenario, a very clear business case on what to expect over a 5-year term. And this data really represents financial performance that is really phenomenal for our brand and phenomenal for the industry. And I'm proud to boast that our average resort revenue per year in 2023 was just over $1.7 million.
My goodness, for an average.
That was the 2023 average unit resort revenue.
That is incredible. Like friends, if you're listening to that, like that's like they can't lie on that or they're in a whole lot of trouble. And so like
Yeah, if
this
I
is
did, there'd be bars in front of me, right?
yeah, right. And so just an incredible opportunity, as you can see. And I mean, the numbers speak for themselves. People will spend money on their pets.
Yeah.
They care deeply about them. Like you've mentioned, Stephen, like they become like children to people.
Yes.
They are literally a part of the family. So they're gonna spend money on the family. And that's so great. You know, why my last question really for you, Stephen, is you're not the only one in this space, right? Even within our own portfolio of brands, like we have other like pet resorts as well in that space, whether it's just overnight boarding or grooming and services or other pet franchises. My last question then is, why should an elite entrepreneur or an empire builder, why should they consider All American Pet Resorts over some of your competitors?
Excellent question. I'm gonna answer that in two fashions.
Yeah.
Number one, when we put the candidate through the process, the evaluation process again, this is about educating them so that they can make the right decision at the right time for the right reason. It's a partnership, and it's a long-term partnership.
Mm-hmm.
And we want to make sure that their knowledge, their investment is in line with what they're thinking of. So when we put them through the validation process, they talk with our franchisees, which is part of the process. And a couple of things that they're probably going to hear when they speak with them are phrases like, number one, I like what the brand is doing and where we're going. Number two, operational marketing support has been strengthened significantly. And number three, under new ownership, relationship between franchisees and ownership has greatly improved with a dedicated commitment to the brand. We just wrapped up our national brand conference a few weeks ago, and the initial feedback came back as the best conference ever. So we're really starting to tighten up what we do and how we do it, and the relationships are getting to a point where it's very solid. But where we really differentiate ourselves from others in the industry, Jared, is number one, we're nimble and flexible. Okay. We're a smaller company. We're a smaller brand. You're working with the home office directly. You work with myself. You are director of operations. And we also allow a little autonomy. Don't want to clamp our hands around the franchisees. We want to allow some latitude and some freedom. So we do allow some autonomy, and we're relationship focused. Number two, we have some of the highest standards in the pet care industry, period, bar none. We have 24-hour staff, as I mentioned previously, 365 days a year. There is never time in our resort where an employee is not on the premises. Number two, we're transparent. We have webcams in all of our facilities. Pet parents can watch their pets during their daycare or overnight boarding. Yeah. And as also part of number two, we have fully dedicated employees that generate phenomenal reviews based on the care and experience they provide the pets and the pet parents. Yeah. And number three, for a similar investment with other brands, our financial performance is phenomenal. So for a similar less than investment, your financial performance will be very strong. And our brand encompasses the entire pet care experience from the time you walk into the door to the time you leave. And we get financial performance that is absolutely remarkable.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's so good, man. I can't appreciate you enough, Stephen, for sharing that. That it is a good question. I wanted to ask you one more about staffing, too. But before we get to that, if friends, those of you watching right now, those of you watching even live later on, if you want to learn more about this opportunity, which obviously, as you know, is an incredible one, all you have to do is write in the comments, type "join the pack" down below, and we'll begin a conversation. Just to determine, start talking about qualification. Is this a good fit for you? Secondly, we'll figure out territory and what we're looking at and see if if you're a good fit for them. And so that's really where the conversation begins. Typing "join the pack" is not signing your name to this going, I am going forward with this brand. There's still so many conversations that need to take place. It's just raising your hand going, tell me more. So type that in, join the pack now, either now or later, and we'll reach out and get a conversation going. But can you tell us, Stephen, a little bit about staffing? What can an investor or an owner really expect as far as how staffing works? Because I envision, one, you probably need a good deal of staff even from the beginning, but then to maintain them for 24/7 work. Tell me a little bit about that.
This is a unique opportunity, and unlike the fast food service industry, right, where I know that the employment turnover is quite high, we look for and find employees at a resort level that are passionate about being with pets. Not necessarily dealing with people all the time, but dealing with pets, which is a little easier.
Yeah.
And so our employee retention and turnover is better than like the fast food industry. And we find people that maybe enjoy working in the back of the house, not open out in the public, and spending time with the pets and doing things of that nature. And we find good employees that love pets, like what they do. We tend to find that on the employee turnover, we do much better than the average in the industry. And then also, to further answer your question, there is a ratio of employees to pets, which is kind of part of our secret sauce.
Okay. Oh,
but
okay.
There's a ratio of employees to pets, which is again, depending on the number of pets in your facility, you will have an employee for so many pets. And it's a function of how big the facility is, which we find is very successful in the management of our facilities.
Yeah, that makes sense. You probably don't want, one staff member for every 50 dogs or something. So
no,
that makes sense. Yeah.
That could be a problem.
Yeah. Clear intentionality there. I love that. Stephan, thank you so much for your time today, your investment into this group. I'm excited to send you the best of the best, the highly qualified for this opportunity, as I believe it could radically transform some lives as you help them franchise their future. So thank you so much again for your time today.
My pleasure. Thank you very much, Jared. Pleasure speaking with you.
All right, Stephan, we'll see you later.
Thank you.
Friends, I just wanted to say real quick before we wrap up, thanks for joining us again. Type join the pack. Stephan, I see in the comments. We'll reach out, we'll get a conversation going, answer some questions for you, get you some information about them. But type join the pack now in the comments, and we'll get a conversation going there. We also dropped in the chat the link to begin the qualification process, so you can start there, just seeing, do you qualify for this? And or the other 400 brands that we work with, which ones do you qualify for most? And so it's really a great way to start to see where you kind of sit, and it's gonna be a good one. Next week we are bringing on Millie's homemade ice cream. And so, man, I'm so pumped to bring them on because I'm a big fan of ice cream. Who isn't? And it's going to be good. So we're, doing pets today, doing ice cream next week. What a fun! This is the real March Madness right now, And so I want to say thank you to those of you joining us. Rather than going watching basketball or wrestling or whatever other sport, you're taking time to enjoy this content. Hope it's been valuable for you. And this is Jared signing off with Fran Opps Live. Until next time, we'll see you all later, friends.